It's still Thunderbolts week, and to continue it going, I'm going to rank every single Thunderbolts movie. Now, what classifies as a Thunderbolts movie, you may ask? I am ranking every movie that characters in the Thunderbolts have appeared in. So for the case of Yelena, we're including Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Thunderbolts. But for the case of, say, Bucky Barnes, I'm not including the Avengers movies he was in because he wasn't really a crucial part of those. I'm not including the first Avenger because he was never really the Winter Soldier or the Bucky that we know in that movie. And I'm not including, like, Black Panther, things that he appeared briefly in. I'm considering movies that these characters are big pieces, crucial pieces in. So that's what classifies a Thunderbolts movie. Before I tell you my ranking, go down below, tell me what your ranking is. In the description, I will have a list of the movies that I am going to rank. Movies and TV shows. I keep saying movies. We have a couple of TV shows in here as well. But do that as well. And real quick, gotta explain, background, very different, very sad. It's very sad here. I have posters sitting right over there. I just haven't got the push pins or anything I need to put them up. I currently moved out. I'm living somewhere else. I got my own place. So I got a new studio. And so it'll change a long time. We'll have some pretty drastic changes. But for now, specifically this video, I hope to change it in the next video because this is very sad. You're going to have to deal with this big white background because that's all I have set up right now. So with that said, let's dive right into number 7, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Now, if I didn't rewatch this movie, the show rather, before Captain America 4 came out, this would probably be much higher. Definitely would be much higher. But I watched it before it came out. And the writing in this show is very, very terrible. And I didn't realize that when I was 13 or 14 because, oh look, it's two characters I love and they're playing action hero and they're fighting John Walker, who's another character I love. I didn't notice the flaws. I noticed the flaws this time. There is almost no redeemable qualities about this show. And it sucks to have a show that I had like 4 stars, 4.5 stars that I really enjoyed go down to a 1.5 star show. It's not good. I did not like it whatsoever. The writing's just terrible. There's so many different ways you could write the show, and it would be infinitely better than what we got. John Walker's character in the show is just written to be a little wine bag. Oh, I don't have the super soldier serum, so I can't keep up with the bad guys. There's so many different ways you could have wrote his character, so many different ways that he could portray the fact that he wants super soldier serum. But no, you just had him explain it to us. Speaking of that, Carly Morgenthau, she has a good motive. It's a very good motive. But the fact that they decide to explain this motive as her just sitting down talking about it every single episode, where she's just literally sitting down with our characters or the villain characters. Oh yeah, the government sucks, guys. The government's pretty bad. Yeah, we don't have anything likable about her because she just sits there and whines. The writing in this show just wants all our characters to whine and not get what they want, and then eventually whine about it until they do get what they want. And it's overly preachy. I don't really mind movies when we have a center focus on, like, racism, and I do like how it's done a little bit, where obviously the Isaiah Bradley racism of him being Captain America, but, like, again, the writing's just terrible. It doesn't feel like it's displaying it any proper way. It's just our characters being like, oh yeah, they didn't like me because I'm black. It doesn't display it in any way. It just tells you straightforward. So it's overly preachy. It's kind of boring. The action is not that good. At the very least, it's cool to see Falcon and John Walker and Bucky. But that's about it. I did not like watching it. This rewatch, I didn't even finish it. I couldn't even watch the last episode because I really, really did not like it. Number 6, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And this is Ghost's first appearance inside the MCU. This and Thunderbolts are her 2 appearances. And this movie is a fine Marvel movie. Let's be very clear here. Falcon and Winter Soldier, bottom 5 MCU project after rewatch. Ant-Man and the Wasp, much higher. I think it's still my bottom 15, but just because it's a typical MCU movie, it doesn't really do anything special. It's fun. It's fine. It's fun. It's an entertaining movie, and that's what a movie's supposed to be. I like these characters. I like Scott Lang, specifically Paul Rudd. I think he's very good in the movie, obviously. It's got kind of like individual layers where you have these bad guys going after him, these bad guys going after him, and it's just individual MacGuffin. They're going after this certain MacGuffin. It's fine. It's good in that aspect. Ghost, I feel like, is one of the more forgettable villains inside the MCU, and even in Thunderbolts, she wasn't utilized in a perfect way. She's one of the more forgettable MCU characters, but still, the movie's fine. It's watchable. Am I going to watch this one over the original Ant-Man movie? No, because I love the original Ant-Man movie. Am I going to watch it over Quantumania, which is my least favorite Ant-Man movie? Absolutely. It's an entertaining watch. Doesn't do anything special. Doesn't really do anything that really makes the movie pop. Doesn't do anything that makes me say, oh yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp, it was great at doing that. No, it's a fun watch. I remember going to see this one in the theaters with my family, and we just left the theater having a good time. I still don't enjoy it as near as much as that original Ant-Man movie. In 5th place, we got Black Widow. Now, this is introduction to several characters that are in the new Thunderbolts movie. Red Guardian was introduced. Yelena was introduced. Both characters introduced in Black Widow. And that's definitely the best part about that movie, is that Yelena was introduced. Probably my favorite Marvel character that's currently in the MCU right now. Well, of course, besides Spider-Man. Spider-Man's still my favorite. But we were introduced to her. I recently rewatched this movie literally like 3 days ago in preparation for Thunderbolts week. And I feel like this was my first rewatch since 2021. And I pretty much have my opinions the same. This movie itself is very different vibe style from the rest of the MCU. At times, that's a great thing. There are some amazing cinematography shots in this movie, some amazing action scenes. At other times, it feels like a direct-to-video action movie, where it just feels drab and boring and no style. And then especially like some CGI scenes. Obviously, we have the infinite scene with Yelena just shoving the stick in the hole. Pause. And she flies off, and that scene's terrible, and there's some terrible CGI moments, but other times there are some fantastic shots, and the movie has more style than the rest of the MCU. We have had spy movies inside the MCU. We're getting ready to talk about one coming very soon, but this one felt different, and I liked it. I liked watching the spy stuff. Taskmaster, the twist was awful. One of the worst twists in the MCU, but for the majority of the movie, I realized that she's very cool. I do like her action scenes. I do like the Taskmaster character. But the twist was terrible. And that's my big thing with this movie, is that there's so many great things in this movie, but for every great thing there comes a problem, whether it's great cinematography, terrible CGI, great action sequences, terrible twist with Taskmaster. And that's kind of what my opinions on this movie were, where I was really liking a lot of the movie, but nothing ever seemed to be fully fleshed out. There was always something contradicting itself, like, oh, this was great, but kind of frustrating to watch. We should have gotten this movie before Avengers Endgame, but I still think it's pretty good. I like the distinct vibe. I feel like it's so different from the MCU, and it works. It's just a completely different MCU movie that I wouldn't necessarily say I love. It's a very flawed MCU movie. I do like it. I did enjoy watching it. Oh, another big thing is here. Loved Red Guardian inside the MCU. Very unlikable for some reason in this movie, where throughout the entire movie, his main thing's like, yeah, my name's Red Guardian. I'm the big guy in Russia. And it really gets annoying. I'm not even going to lie to you. He starts to become a very unlikable character. And as much as I love him in Thunderbolts, as much as I love him in the MCU now, very annoying in this movie. So, like I said, it introduces some great characters. Specific great character has some big flaws. So, a movie that kind of frustrating to watch because there's so much I love that could be a potential top-tier MCU movie. And then you get stuff that definitely holds it back. In 4th place, we have Hawkeye, the TV show. This is in this ranking because Yelena is a big aspect of it. And something I've been thinking about recently is how much I love the Yelena plotline, that it's teased at the end of Black Widow that she's going to go kill Clint Barton, and we get it resolved in the same year. We don't get that anymore in the MCU. With so many plot lines that are left unresolved inside the MCU right now, it's so nice to see a plot line get resolved in the same exact year that it was announced. So something very cool. I did like that. But besides the point, this is just a fun show inside the MCU. You get Kate Bishop, who is a fantastic introduction into this show. or into this franchise. You get her interactions with Hawkeye, who I also love, and I really love their interactions. There are some great action sequences in this show, obviously, because it's more street level. You have more of the bow and arrow, more of the mob-style action sequences, and that's great. You get the Christmas vibe, which was something kind of cool. It's cool to have a show that's set in Christmas inside the MCU. You also get the MCU starting to bring the Daredevil stuff over into this franchise, where we get Kingpin in the show. Kingpin is literally, at the end of the show, the main villain in the show. And so that's something cool you get in here as well. And talking about the Yelena plotline, I just love the way the plotline's resolved. You get Yelena and Kate's interactions, which I've been seeing a bunch of YouTube shorts and Instagram reels about recently, and it's amazing interactions. I wish they interact more inside the MCU, but that's something great as well. And then very emotional scenes where Clint is explaining, yeah, I didn't want her to sacrifice herself, but no one was stopping her. And you have that emotion with Yelena that kind of leads into the Thunderbolts emotions that she has. So overall, this is just a very fun show. It's a show that I've never revisited since, and I planned on revisiting last Christmas, but I didn't. And I plan on revisiting it very soon, though. But currently, Last of Us is still going, and I'm still very behind on The Last of Us. So I did really have fun with the show. I still haven't rewatched it, though. But I have seen tons of clips on the internet of it, and I'm reminded quite often how much of a fun show this is. Number 3, we got Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, this is a movie that I don't love as much as a lot of other people do. I do still really like this movie. I do think it's a fantastic MCU movie. Probably has my best plotline inside the MCU, where it's Hydra taking over S.H.I.E.L.D., one of the best plot lines in the MCU. What they do with that throughout the entire MCU is something I find awesome. We also have some really good action sequences in here. We're introduced to Falcon in the show, and it's directed by the Russo brothers. Time out. Since when were the Russo brothers getting so much hate on Twitter and all the other social media platforms? I mean, they delivered the 2 Captain America movies that most people say are great, and Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. Why am I seeing so much stuff on my timeline that says, oh, they shouldn't direct the next Avengers movie? Okay, rant over. It's kind of away from the point, but still. They delivered some of the best MCU movies, and this is not one I would consider one of the best, but really good. And like I was saying, with their direction style, the action sequences that we get in here, very cool. Bucky, obviously a great character, specifically the Winter Soldier that he is in this movie, and him and his interactions with Steve Rogers are pretty great. You do have that big crescendo at the end with the helicarrier falling down and Bucky finally saving him. That does set up the rest of the MCU that I do also think is really, really cool in this movie. The pacing is a little rough. The runtime is a little long. Every time I watch this movie, I start to, certain times, okay, we can cut this out, guys. This movie does not need to be 2.5 hours long. And so every time I do watch it, I start to feel a little tired by the end of the movie just because it feels like it's going so long. But still, that's the only reason I say that it's not a top-tier MCU movie like a lot of other people do, just because of the runtime, and it really does affect my viewing experience. A lot of other people think it's top tier. I still really, really like this movie, but because of the pacing, I can't say it's top tier. Still, really good MCU movie, though. Number 2, Thunderbolts. The reason I am doing this video, and it hurts that I cannot put it at number 1, because I love this movie. The more I think about this movie, the more I absolutely adore it. There are these characters that we love, whether it's Yelena, Red Guardian, John Walker. We absolutely love these characters. Or whether it's the themes that this movie is exploring about mental health, depression, themes that we have not gotten explored in any other MCU projects ever. And they're themes that are absolutely perfect in this movie. Themes that resonate with me, that made me cry several times in this movie. The way they're handled perfectly. Bob, a character that's introduced, that it's exploring this mental health, is a man with the mental health like this, suit to be a hero, and you get the entire movie where he's just thinking, yeah, things would be better if I wasn't here. Things that people with depression, people like me, who's been through stuff like that, not as extreme, but I have been through stuff like that in the past, have felt. And so it resonates with me. Scenes where a father tells his daughter, hey, I don't see your flaws. I think you're perfect. And it's a fantastic scene. It made me cry. It also takes us back to the original days of the MCU. You're at the end of it, at the post-credit scene, you get excited for more MCU in the future. You love the action sequences. It's got people talking, and nothing about it is negative. It's got people theorizing. We have great action sequences, like I said. Sentry is a great villain, great interactions with these characters. And so it's just a movie that feels like what the MCU used to do so well. And it's genuinely a top 5 MCU movie. It takes everything that the old MCU used to do, puts it in this movie with a theme about depression on it. It's perfect. It's a great movie. Made me cry when I watched it. And I'm still trying to get a time to go see it again. It would be easier, but I'm waiting on my brother to go watch it, and our schedules are very different, so gotta wait for that. But, I mean, just, it's perfect. Everything I'm reading about it on my timeline on Twitter, everything I see that people write about it, just make me love this movie even more. Theories I have, everything. I love this movie. Everything that it needed to do, it did. It won me over. And as much as I hate this phrase, the MCU is so back, baby. But I can't put it at number 1 because number 1 has to be Captain America Civil War. I'm genuinely in the mood to watch it again, like right now. I watched it a month ago. I mean, that's how much I love this movie, is I could watch this one over and over and over again. It's an Avengers movie that tears our heroes apart. We love these characters. Whose side are we going to take? And that's the theme that this movie puts us on, where we love these characters. We're going on this adventure, but we're at 2 separate parts. You could see the parts where you would be rooting for Iron Man. Yeah, if my parents were murdered by this guy, I'd want to get revenge on this guy too. But then you take it up for Captain America. Obviously, Bucky was mind-controlled, and on the other side of things, the military. Would it be a good idea for the military to be watching over these heroes? Captain America says, well, what if we need to be somewhere and they won't let us be? Iron Man says, well, look at all the damage we've caused being away from the military, being our own thing. And it's genuinely amazing themes, amazing thoughts that this movie has. Alongside that, Baron Zemo, fantastic villain, wasn't utilized in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but hey, that's last place on this video. We're talking about first place. Fantastic villain. It's crazy to me that he literally is the villain just because his wife and family was murdered, which, yeah, obviously, if your wife was family was murdered, but going this extreme for that was a great theme for him. We get introduced to so many characters. It's crazy to think that we get introduced to so many fan favorite characters in Black Panther, Spider-Man. All of them are introduced in this movie. You have so many characters with so many individual plot lines, and nothing about it feels rushed. Nothing about it feels bloated. It's all done really perfectly. And then you get the Russo brothers stuff. So there's some great action here, some pretty humorous scenes. You get all these characters interacting with each other. So it's great. It is a fantastic movie. It's an MCU movie that I'll probably watch 5 or 10 times a year because that's how much I do love it. I think it is probably the best MCU movie. Not my personal favorite. I think I'd have to inch Infinity War and Endgame over it, but still. Civil War, phenomenal movie. Best Captain America movie. And especially after these movies, I don't see how you can't be hyped for the Russo brothers directing the Avengers. Yeah, we got The Gray Man, we got Cherry, which I haven't seen, and we got The Electric State. Gray Man's like a 3-star film. The Electric State, I gave 2.5 on Letterboxd. By the way, go follow my Letterboxd, Zach D Films. But I still can't believe that people are still doubting the Russo brothers because of how good they have done with previous MCU projects. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Stay tuned for the MCU Multiverse Saga films ranked. And with that said, subscribe.